The wind howled across the high plains of Wyoming like a lonesome coyote, whipping dust devils into the twilight sky as Jake Harlan stood on the sagging porch of his ranch house, staring at the empty horizon. It was November, the kind of cold that seeped into your bones and made a man question every choice that led him here. 6 months ago, his wife, Emily, had passed in a car accident on the icy road to town, gone in an instant, leaving behind a half-finished quilt on the kitchen table and a silence that echoed louder than any storm. Jake, 42 and weathered like the barn wood, had buried himself in the ranch work, mending fences, feeding the few head of cattle he could afford to keep, and avoiding the pitying glances from folks in Laramie. But tonight, as the sun dipped low, painting the snow-capped Tetons in fiery orange, something broke inside him. He clutched the old harmonica Emily had given him on their wedding day, its metal cold against his calloused palm, and let out a sob that the wind carried away. That's when he heard the rumble, faint at first, like distant thunder, growing into the growl of an engine straining against the rutted dirt road. Headlights pierced the dusk, 2 beams cutting through the gathering dark. Jake squinted, his heart skipping a beat. Visitors? Out here, 30 miles from the nearest neighbor. He hadn't seen a soul in weeks, not since the feed delivery guy muttered condolences and sped off. The truck, an old Ford pickup, rust-eaten and mud-splattered, lurched to a stop in front of the gate. 2 figures emerged, bundled in coats and scarves, their breath fogging the air. Women, by the look of them, though the fading light made details hazy. "Hello. Anyone home?" The voice was strong, laced with a warmth that cut through the chill. The taller one waved, her dark hair escaping a wool hat. Jake hesitated, then stepped down the creaky stairs, his boots crunching on frost-kissed gravel. Up close, they were striking, sisters, he guessed, with high cheekbones, sun-kissed skin, and eyes that sparkled like polished obsidian. The Apache sisters, as they'd introduced themselves later, Mia, the elder at 28, with a quiet intensity, and Lena, 25, all fire and laughter. "We saw your light from the highway," Mia said, her words careful but kind. "Our truck's acting up, overheating something fierce. Mind if we trouble you for water? Or a phone? Cell service is a ghost out here." Jake nodded mutely, gesturing toward the barn where he kept a jug. As Lena popped the hood, steam hissing like an angry snake, he fetched it, his mind racing. Strangers, but something about them felt safe. Relatable, even. They'd been driving from the reservation in Arizona, heading to a family reunion in Montana, but a wrong turn and a storm forecast had stranded them. "We don't mean to impose," Lena added, wiping grease from her hands on her jeans. "But the radio says blizzard incoming. Roads'll be impassable by morning." The hook of the night sank deeper when Jake, against his hermit instincts, invited them inside. "Got stew on the stove. Emily's recipe, venison from last hunt." He said her name without choking, a small victory. The sisters exchanged glances, sensing the weight behind it, and followed him in. The house was sparse, a wood stove crackling, photos of better days on the mantel, dust motes dancing in the lamplight. As they ate, stories flowed like the coffee Jake poured. Mia spoke of their life on the res, teaching kids traditional crafts, fighting for water rights. Lena, the mechanic by trade, joked about fixing tractors for elders who paid in fry bread and wisdom. Jake listened, the loneliness cracking like thin ice. He shared bits of Emily, how she'd sing Apache hymns she'd learned from a friend, even though she was Irish through and through. She believed in kindness without strings, he said, voice rough. Said the world was big, but hearts connect if you let them. The sisters nodded, their own losses mirroring his. Mia had lost a brother to the streets, Lena a fiancé in Afghanistan. Themes of selflessness wove through their tales, Mia volunteering at shelters, Lena rebuilding engines for free for single moms. But the unexpected turn came as the storm hit. Wind rattled the windows, snow piling against the door. The truck wouldn't start, battery dead, radiator cracked. "We're stuck," Lena sighed, but her eyes lit with mischief. Mia pulled out a deck of cards from her pack. Poker. Loser tells a secret. Jake, rusty at fun, agreed. Hours blurred. Laughter filled the room for the first time in months. Jake won a hand, confessed his fear of selling the ranch, of letting go. The sisters lost next. Mia admitted dreaming of opening a cultural center, but funds were nil. Lena revealed she'd been saving to adopt a child from the foster system, inspired by their mother's abandonment. Profound realization dawned on Jake as midnight neared. These women weren't just passers-by, they were a mirror to his isolation. "You've got fire," he told them. "Me? I'm ashes." Lena shook her head. "Ashes fertilize new growth, Mr. Harlan. That's what our elders say." The title moment slipped out then, raw and unfiltered, born of wine from Jake's cellar and the storm's intimacy. They'd been talking dreams, vulnerabilities exposed. Mia, bold yet gentle, leaned in. "We both want you, don't stop us tonight," she whispered, her hand on his. Lena echoed, "The loneliness, it's killing you. Let us share warmth. No strings, just humanity." Jake froze, heart pounding. It wasn't lust, though attraction sparked, it was deeper, a selfless offer to pull him from the abyss. In that old ranch house, under the Apache sisters' gaze, he saw the power of connection. Kindness in its rawest form, two souls seeing his pain and offering to heal it, even if just for a night. Tears welled as he nodded, the unexpected turn twisting into acceptance. They moved to the fire, blankets shared, stories turning to touches, gentle, consensual, a triad of comfort against the blizzard. It was selfless, profound, Mia tracing scars from Jake's rodeo days, Lena humming a lullaby their grandmother taught. No possession, just presence. As dawn hinted gray through frosted panes, the emotional build intensified. Jake woke to the sisters brewing coffee, the truck miraculously jury-rigged with parts from his shed. "We fixed it," Lena grinned. But Jake felt transformed. Their night wasn't about bodies, it was souls intertwining, reminding him life pulsed beyond grief. "You gave me more than warmth," he said. Mia smiled. "And you gave us hope, a place to rest, a story to carry." Yet the climax loomed. Jake, in a surge of generosity, pressed his truck keys into their hands. "Take mine. Newer, reliable. I'll hitch to town later." The sisters protested, but his eyes burned with resolve. "Emily would have done it. Pay it forward, that's the power of us humans." The act hung in the air like the storm's aftermath, snow blanketing the world in hushed white. Mia's eyes widened, Lena's hand flying to her mouth. "Jake, no, we can't take your lifeline," Mia insisted, her voice cracking with the weight of such selflessness. But Jake stood firm, the rancher's stubborn grit shining through. "I've got the old Chevy in the barn. Runs like a dream when it wants to. You need to get to that reunion, see your people. Family's everything." It was his compassion in action, a transformative gift born from the night's profound bond. The sisters had entered as strangers, now, they were kin in spirit. Lena hugged him fiercely, tears freezing on her cheeks. "You're a good man, Jake Harlan. The kind the world needs more of." They loaded their packs into his truck, a '98 Silverado, polished despite the ranch's neglect. As engine roared to life, Jake felt the emotional climax crest, a wave of release, grief mingling with gratitude. He'd given not just metal and rubber, but a piece of his healing heart. The Apache sisters had reignited his faith in humanity's quiet power, the way one act of kindness ripples, unseen but unbreakable. They drove off slowly, tires crunching fresh powder, waving until the truck vanished into the white veil. Jake watched from the porch, harmonica in hand, a smile breaking through his beard for the first time since Emily's passing. The house felt less empty, echoes of laughter lingered. But the story didn't end there, an unexpected turn awaited, one that would seal the inspiration. Weeks later, As Christmas lights twinkled and Laramie and Jake nursed the old Chevy through town for supplies, a letter arrived via the postman who doubled as gossip courier. Thick envelope, stamped from Montana. Inside, photos of the reunion, Mia and Lena surrounded by aunts, uncles, kids with gap-toothed grins. And a check, substantial, from a tribal fund they'd rallied. For the cultural center, Mia's note read. But first, for you. Fix the ranch. Honor Emily. Enclosed was another surprise, adoption papers, Lena's dream funded by community donations sparked by their tale of the lonely rancher who gave everything. Jake's hands trembled. Profound realization hit anew, this was the chain of selflessness. His gift had inspired them to share their story at the reunion, moving elders to contribute. The check covered repairs, cattle, even a new quilt loom for Emily's memory. But more, an invitation. Come visit. We're family now. Jake packed that night, the ranch secure with a hired hand from town, a veteran down on luck, another act of paying forward. The drive north was a pilgrimage, Wyoming plains giving way to Montana's big sky. Arriving at the reservation, Jake was enveloped in warmth, fry-bread feasts, drum circles under stars. Mia showed him the center's foundation, stones laid with his name etched. Lena introduced her new foster daughter, a shy girl with braids, who called Jake Uncle after one story. Themes of kindness universalized here, cultures blending, pain shared, humanity triumphant. Yet the heartwarming climax unfolded on a crisp evening by the fire pit. The sisters pulled Jake aside. That night, Mia said softly, we offered because we saw your light dimming. You accepted, then gave more than we ever could. Lena added, it transformed us too. We were running from our own losses. You showed stopping to help heals everyone. Jake played his harmonica then, a melody Emily loved, now infused with Apache rhythms the sisters taught. Tears flowed freely, but they were joyful. The uplifting message crystallized as snow fell again, gentle this time. In a world that often feels divided, by miles, grief, or borders, the power of humanity lies in pausing, in seeing another's struggle, in giving without expectation. Jake returned to Wyoming renewed, the ranch thriving, visitors now common, kids from the res learning roping, locals sharing meals. He hung a sign by the gate, open hearts welcome. The Apache sisters visited often, their bond eternal. Years on, travelers still speak of the lonely rancher and the sisters who said, we both want you, don't stop us tonight. Not a tale of fleeting passion, but of profound compassion that sparked a legacy. It reminds us, kindness is selfless, unexpected turns lead to growth, and one generous act can light the darkest night. Hope endures because people like Jake, Mia, and Lena choose connection. In the USA's vast heartland or anywhere souls wander, humanity's power whispers, don't stop the light, pass it on.